Hey guys, how you doing? Long time no see. We're 7 weeks into the lockdown now. We've still got an empty school coming at you here from wonderful Sandy Lane. We are missing you and we're looking forward to you coming back, but I thought we'd check in and just see how you're doing. I hope you're feeling fighting fit. I hope you're feeling positive about things. We're just at that point now of lockdown easing, so I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I think things hopefully should get easier now, and we're working towards that time where we can see each other, we can see friends again, see other family again, and life comes back to some form of normality, which is great. In the meantime, well done for keeping up to date with lessons and work. Do keep any feedback coming about that, particularly where things are kind of getting too much, or if you feel you're not getting enough. Do let us know, because we are responsive to that and we do want feedback on how the online learning is going. I've got some messages coming up from Mr. Davey and Miss Rice, but I'm going to pick as my theme for today this, which is a pot of my daughter's slime that she made. Very satisfyingly comes out of the pot in the shape of the pot. Now I'm just going to leave that there while I'm talking, and what I'd say to you is, if you're anything like me, 7 weeks into the lockdown, you may well be finding that your approach to time management is different to how it was in the days when you're perhaps at school and you've got a different structure to your day. So I do find myself sometimes coming off the back of a YouTube rabbit hole, a Wikipedia rabbit hole, where I've whiled away a couple of hours achieving the sum total of nothing. I've refreshed my Instagram feed so many times that sort of 40 minutes has gone past. An old favourite of mine is actually when you're absolutely tired out and you're ready to go to bed, and just before you go upstairs you decide to take one flick through the TV channels just in case there's anything brilliant on, and by the time you've done that and cycled through for the fourth time and not watched anything for longer than a couple of minutes, you realise like an hour and a half's gone by and you're absolutely shattered. And then the first thing you do when you wake up the next day is, one, think about how tired you are and when are you next going to get some sleep, and two, you start thinking about, back to my phone, and first thing you do, reach over, pick up your phone, as if something dramatic's going to happen in the sort of 7-8 hours since you last looked at it. So the reason I bring that up, and you can see the slime doing it right now, it's losing its lovely pot shape and it's just turning into like a bit of a splat, really. And what I'm going to say to you is, this represents structure, and with structure this slime takes on quite a satisfying shape, and without structure around it, it just kind of oozes and fills the space. And I think that in this kind of time where our structure is kind of less and our structure is different, it's very, very easy to undertake a series of kind of displacement activities and nothing activities that ooze out like this to fill the time, and before you know it, a day has gone past, and if you were challenged to say, so what did you actually do today, you may well wonder how you spent that time and how you spent your evening. So I'm going to encourage you to think of that one word structure. I know sometimes structure feels like it's a teacher trick. It's just because you want us back in the Victorian workhouse type conditions. You want us on a timetable, you want us where you want us, and you're just trying to kind of oppress the young. It's not really about that. It's about being constructive and getting everything you want out of a day. Think how many of you, when we went into lockdown, said, actually, do you know what, this lockdown is going to be a really positive time for me. I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to learn to do that, I'm going to come out incredibly fit, incredibly strong, incredibly healthy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you've achieved those things, then you are awesome and well done, and I'm really, really impressed with that. If you haven't, it's perfectly natural. I wouldn't encourage you to beat up on yourself at all about that. It's not easy, but it may well be that you could free up a little bit of space in your day to be more constructive, a bit more time to work on you, a little bit of time to move yourself forward in various ways, maybe even a bit more pure relaxation time if you structure your day a bit better. And what I mean by that is, fine, you've got your lessons. What are you doing between those lessons? Well, in school that would be private study. Is that a time where you can get your school tasks out of the way so that by the time your timetable is finished at 3:50, your day is done and everything then becomes all about you? That means you can go and do that bit of exercise, you can read that book, you can play that thing, you can do whatever it is that you promised yourself you were going to do. But in the absence of structure, what you will do is you will use that time to waste. And I'm not saying that as a negative on you as a person. It's not a bad thing. We all do it. There's so many times, I'll teach a lesson and then I'm free. I know I've got stuff to do. I go home, the old phone comes out, and then suddenly you look at your watch. It's like, oh, I'm teaching another lesson in 5 minutes. Oh, I was supposed to do this and that. So my top tip for the week is try and be strict on yourself with structure. It's something I noticed probably 2-3 weeks ago, and I've improved. Still not perfect. Other advantage of structure, it means that you will get regular sleep at the right time. I don't know if you know this, but sleep before midnight is worth more than sleep after midnight. So getting to bed at a good time is healthy for you. If you wake up in the morning, here's top tip number, what are we on now? Number 3. Top tip number 3, if you wake up in the morning, pick up your phone and you feel like you've got a headache right behind your eyes there, you haven't got coronavirus, you've been looking at screens too much. Don't fall asleep looking at your phone, wake up, look at your phone. Your phone's not going anywhere. Get some structure in your life, get the things you want done. Structure involves thinking forward and thinking, what do I want to get done today? What do I need to get done today? What are the important things to get done today? Arrange times with yourself to do those things, stick to those times, and then everything else will come from there. And then you get guilt-free leisure, which is the Holy Grail. Okay, I hope you can achieve that. As I said earlier, we're coming out the other side of lockdown now, we hope. Things are looking positive. We hope to see you before the summer. Look after yourselves, and I will see you on the other side. One more thing before I go. I've had a few questions about predicted grade exams. When are they going to take place? We're certainly not going to suddenly spring that on you. The answer is we don't have a date set yet, but that date will be at the best time for you. And what I mean by that is we're going to make a judgment based on when we come back to school. It could be at the end of the summer term, but on the other hand, it could be September, and we will base that decision on giving you a fair crack of the whip, having had time with your teachers and time to revise. Okay, I'm going to pass on now to Mr. Davey and Miss Rice. I hope you're all good. See you soon.
Hi guys, I hope you're well and you've adapted to our new summer term. First thing I'd like to say to you is a really big well done. I'm hearing lots of good things about your work in lessons and prep work, and we're getting lots of good slips coming in from your teachers. So well done and keep up the good work. For today's assembly, I thought I'd share with you a little glimpse into life in lockdown life in the Rice household. I think it's fair to say we found a certain rhythm and a routine to things, and I really hope that you have too in your homes. So the first thing to share with you is we've got a new puppy. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's called Nala. She's a Fox Red Labrador, and she is certainly keeping us on our toes. She's an absolute bundle of joy. You walk into a room, you see her little tail start wagging, and everything just feels that bit easier and that bit more able to cope. Of course, lockdown has also given us other opportunities as well. And one thing that has really kind of come out of it is that we've got a bit more time in the day to go and exercise, can really spend some time getting fit and feeling good about life. So we've been running, walking, you name it, we've been doing it. Lockdown's also given us a little bit of time to perhaps spend the time doing things that we like to do, not just working. And for me, it's really allowed me to indulge my passion in baking. There is nothing I like more at the end of a hard day or at a weekend than getting into that kitchen, whipping up something yummy to share. It's been really beneficial in our household. Of course, I couldn't mention lockdown life without mentioning remote teaching and learning, and I have just been blown away by how brilliantly our students are coping with remote teaching and learning. I think we probably have the most adaptable students in the country. Well done, you guys. And lastly, of course, every cloud must have a silver lining. And so you're probably thinking, what's she talking about? What's the silver lining to the lockdown cloud? Well, it is awful. It is difficult. We can't go and see our friends and family. We can't do the things that we'd normally like to do. However, there is an opportunity in there. And that opportunity is, of course, to save money. Save money for our future holidays, save money for our future trips, social trips with friends, and so forth. I hope that you guys are also managing to see and find the joy and the fun in the little things that happen in your day. It goes without saying that we miss you hugely. We're really looking forward to being back at school. But for now, if there's anything you need, you know where to come and you know we're here for you. Take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
I said I'd talk to you a little bit about the predicted grade process, so I want to give you some clarity as well as some reassurance on how we're trying to do this. First thing to say from the outset is we want to make it as positive as possible in terms of what we can predict for you, but obviously we've got to predict based on something. So two things you've been told that we're looking at. One is your assessments through the year, and the other is the predicted grade exams. I'll deal with them one at a time. I'll start with the predicted grade exams because that's the obvious way that we would predict. The reason we postpone those from June until week 3 in September is that although we've been doing your normal timetable, you've had interactive lessons and you've had effectively face-to-face contact with teachers, it's still not quite the same as having been in a classroom. So we want you to feel that you've got the best possible chance in those exams. So we don't want to do them until you've had an opportunity to have a good number of lessons, work through things that perhaps remotely you didn't understand and you haven't had quite the opportunity to get into. We also want to give you time to consolidate the learning you've been doing this term over the summer, working towards that. So I would anticipate that your first sort of 2-3 weeks when you get back will be perhaps working over the material you've covered and almost revision towards those exams. Same process as we were going to do before. Whatever you get in that exam, we will add 1 grade to, and that would be your UCAS prediction. However, there are all sorts of very legitimate reasons why those exams might not work for you. You might have worked incredibly hard now towards exams that you thought were happening in June, and you may have effectively feel like you peaked too early. It may be the case that you're struggling in the lockdown, and academically remote learning and lockdown life and lockdown revision doesn't suit you particularly well, and we may not get the best performance out of you in that exam. And you might legitimately say, but that exam doesn't reflect the work I did last year. Hence, us looking at your prior assessments. Now, how's that actually going to work? Again, it's not a question of the final assessment, the final data drop you do in June being your grade. We'll be looking through the year, and we're looking for where you've sustained hitting your best grade. So if you'd got, for example, C grades all year, but in one assessment you did a couple of good preps, and in one half term you got an A for your prep assessment, but everything else has been a C, does that mean we're going to predict you an A star? No, it doesn't. However, if you've created a kind of trajectory where you perhaps started out the year getting C's, middle of the year getting B's, and then towards this term you're getting into the A grade, does that mean we're going to average that out and go, right, B's, C's and A's, right, that's a B? No, that would be an A, and we would add 1 to that, and that could be an A star prediction. Okay, so what we're looking for is you having, for a sustained period of time, hit a particular grade that we can then add 1 to, and that would be your predicted grade. And again, we're very aware of the fact that that period might have been before we went into lockdown, it might be during the lockdown, so we're not kind of wedded to, well, we're only looking at things in the summer term, or we're only looking at things before the summer term. We're looking for your best performances this year, but clearly we're going to have to have seen that more than once. Okay, so that's essentially what we're looking at. Your performance over this year, +1, anything that you've sustained, or your performance in the predicted grade exam next year, and we'll look at as well opportunities. If you do need a third bite at the cherry, we can look at that as well next term. Okay, I hope that helps clear things up. It's definitely not something to get knotted up about. I think you definitely got opportunities now. You've got these assessments coming, you've got the exams next term, as we've said. And I would also say, in terms of the positioning of those exams, if you've worked really hard to hit those exams in June, you won't need to do a huge amount of revisions over the summer. So if you revised over Easter and you've been revising this term and you're now thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to spend the whole summer, you won't. You'll only need to spend like a couple of weeks refreshing. If on the other hand, you feel like, well, the lockdown happened, I didn't get as much revision as I wanted, it's all felt a little bit uncertain, you're fine, don't worry, because we're not going to do the exam now. You've got the summer to pick up and head into September, and also you're going to see your teachers again before those exams. So we hope that in that package you've got the best opportunity to show your best work, and we can predict the best grade we can for you. All right, see you later.
Right, so we're in a lockdown now. It's taken us right out of our comfort zone. Certainly it's taken me out of my comfort zone. I'm doing lots of things I would never have done before. I've started gardening. I'm growing a chili plant and some sunflowers. I'd never have done that before. So I think now is a good time to develop our positive growth mindset and do things a little bit different that we wouldn't necessarily have done and that take us out of our comfort zone. It's all part of building community and resilience. So I'm about to do something that I'm probably going to regret forever. But it is taking me massively out of my comfort zone. So, but I think it sums up what I'm trying to say, and it's all about resilience and togetherness. Be gentle with me.
Hi guys, I've got a little message for you today. So I'm going to express myself in a slightly unorthodox way, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but hopefully you understand where I'm going with this. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. An Afghan got shot up with the Marines. I ate Haribo with the Mujahideen. It was hot, so I wore sunscreen. I eat pizza with a fork and knife. And Andrew Reid said education is a gift for life. So I'm here to teach you wrong from right. Read books, slap hands and stay out of fights. Don't be tough. Get out the gym. Recognise you gotta be like a penguin. Web feet, long bill, eat fish, smoke salmon, taste delish. Until we get immunity, we've got to maintain the Reeds community. What's that? Are you on glue? Don't do as I say, do as I do. Look after mates, that's diligence. Like Invictus, this is all about resilience. We're all masters of our fate, just like Frodo and the ring. It's never too late. So pick up the phone, say, hey man, Snapchat, FaceTime or Instagram. Like the Rangers, leave no man behind. Stay safe, stand tall and be kind. Alright, nailed it. You've got no idea how many takes that took. Look after yourselves everybody. I look forward to seeing you very soon and stay in touch.